hemisphere, although unable to speak, still actively participates in the perception and interpretation of the world. It can hear the questions asked, and although it cannot articulate a verbal response, its understanding is reflected in its actions, gestures, and decisions. This hemisphere, the other self that resides in the shadow of the speaking mind, has its own opinions, tastes, even its own memories. Consider what happens with face recognition. The right hemisphere has the innate ability to recognize faces, to identify close people, friends and family in a crowd. It is a talent that the left hemisphere does not share. If you relied solely on the left hemisphere to navigate the world, you might find yourself lost in a crowd, unable to distinguish your loved ones from strangers. This fact underscores an uncomfortable truth. The speaking hemisphere, which builds narratives and makes sense of the world through language, does not have access to all the abilities that make you who you are, part of your identity, of your abilities, of your capacity to connect with others, is housed in that silent right hemisphere that understands much more than it can express. This act of cutting the brain in two, it reveals disturbingly that your mind is not a singular unit. Speculation is inevitable. But one possible answer is that the split doesn't turn the right hemisphere into a separate intelligence, but that it always was one. In normal people, perhaps the right hemisphere emerged as an inevitable companion. Initially, they were almost the same, but as language develops, in which it can't participate, it resigns to coordinate in silence with the left hemisphere. Right now, inside your normal head, there are two of you watching this video. One surprised and another possibly bored by how obvious all this is. In split brains, the right hemisphere is not scared, because in reality, not much has changed. You might disagree, and maybe you're even debating now why this isn't possible, just like we would expect the left hemisphere, the talking one, to do. Aside from speculation, split-brain patients at least show that there is something separate in the mind that can listen and understand, and respond given the right circumstances.